Hello, everyone. This is Chantilly from the Elijah Sisters podcast, and we want to talk about some things. Okay,
Some
we are
thingy
here.
things.
We are here with Angelique, and we just want to kind of say how we felt about this Cam Newton interview that everyone's talking about. So, with Dr. Bryant. So, where do I want to start? Where do I want to start? I guess I'll start with the main thing, and that was her saying to his face that he created broken homes.
Yes.
I feel like she wasn't trying to go there deliberately, but the way that the questions that she was being asked, it was no way for her to not say what she said. And I think she would have said that if he was there and if he wasn't there.
It seemed like she didn't really, to me, it seemed like she didn't really even want to go there on such a personal level with him. She really wanted to just talk about the ideas of certain things, and that men or women create, but not do anything personal. I don't even want to use the word attack, even though people kept saying that. At no point did she attack him. Right. But she really didn't want to go there with him and make it personal. But when he kept because by the time she got to that point, he had specifically asked her about him. So then now she has to answer, because now you asked her a specific question about you. And you can't then be, let me go. You can be upset. You have your emotions are your emotions. But you kind of open the door for her to now speak on what she has observed or knows about you, when she really was avoiding doing that. She really was avoiding doing that the whole time, to that point when she was like, well, then now, okay, if you're going to ask me this about you, then I'm going to answer this about you from my experience and knowledge.
Well, she said it in general before he asked her specifically, because when she was talking about creating broken homes, she didn't say you created broken homes. She was just talking about I believe, from what I remember, she was just talking about what she didn't want, I think, or she was talking about the mindset of the Black community.
She was saying she didn't personally want to date a man or marry a man that had children. That was her preference.
That's her preference.
She didn't, and she made it clear there is nothing wrong with men that have children. Right. And men that have had children, it doesn't always mean you did like other people do. You just was making babies. She was like, it could have been divorce. It could have been a widow situation. Right. It's other type of reasons.
And it was bad in general. She was just saying that's not what she wanted.
Yes. And that was what she was going to just kind of leave it at that.
And he asked her two different things. He asked her, I'm like, is this an interview or is it the match game or is it a debate? What are you trying to do here? So he asked her, would she consider him low value? I'm like, she just explained.
She just said, he was like, do you consider, would I be high or low value or high or low functioning? And it was like, why are you, okay, well, then now she's going to answer the question that she was actively avoiding answering on a personal level. For 2 hours, she was avoiding answering this on a personal level and was speaking in generalities, talking about men and women in a general term.
Low value or whatever. And then he was like, so you saying you wouldn't date me because I have? Yes, that's what she's been saying.
Well, first of all, she wouldn't date you. Why are you making it personal?
But he made it real personal.
She was saying, I wouldn't date any man who has any. You are not the only man. So she was saying, I wouldn't date a man, period, that has kids. She did not say I would not date Cam Newton.
But obviously, he's eliminated when she said what she didn't want. So
but you're taking it as she was saying, I wouldn't date. He made it seem like she got on and was like, I would never date Cam Newton. Right. When she was just saying, I would date a man that has kids, and you happen to be a man that has kids.
He took it extremely personal. And he was like, at some point, she was carrying the interview by herself because she was asking him questions, and he was looking away and not saying anything.
Yes. Oh, he was very much pulling away, and you could tell he was getting agitated and irritated, and she was his soul was getting agitated. You could see it. It wasn't even that's why a lot of people were speaking a certain way in the comments. And I was like, honestly, I said this issue wasn't even with her. It was about what she was. And because he felt what she said, she was talking about him, even when she really wasn't. He kept taking stuff as an attack, and you would see her
because he was in the group of people that she was talking about, but she wasn't being specific because that's a general problem.
Yes, and when you would see her pull on that psychologist hat and like make sure she was like would keep on be like, okay, this is what I'm saying. Listen to me. Like she would see, she like, or that time she was like, look at me, Cam. I was like, oh, I felt that was a psychologist move. She was like, I need to make sure you're hearing what I'm saying. Or when he actively tried to, I'm losing the word, but when she asked him something and he like started singing a song about it, and she was like, no, focus on. She was like, stop trying to not distract,
deflect,
but I'm
she said he was
deflect. She was like, don't deflect. Let's stay here. Let's stay right here.
Yeah, she said, let's stay here. I was like, do that. And I think that was a turning point. But also, I haven't watched any of the only male interviewer I will watch really is Shannon Sharp, and I haven't watched all of his.
No.
So I've never watched none of Cam Newton stuff because he always just was like, what is this? Like I'm not into football, so I didn't know him as a football player. But when I saw like the trailers or whatever, I was like, what's going on here? Whatever it is, I don't like it. And I never really, I have noticed, I probably have seen Dr. Bryant places before, but I never really like knew who she was. So
because she said she was on she was a part of the Teen Mom, one of the reunion thing, and I was like, I didn't know that. So I'm saying she's been around, but I didn't know.
Her face looked familiar. So I never seen her interviews, and they said she did an interview with Nick Cannon too. I need to watch that one. And I never seen none of his interviews, but it seemed like he said he started the interview off talking about he had his boxing gloves on. I'm like, is this? And I'm like,
why are you coming to an interview to fight? Like, she didn't bring that energy.
Having a conversation.
Like, she didn't come with that energy. She was like, she was coming for an interview. Why are you already in the stance of why? Because if you're coming with that, whatever, if he was joking or not, you already coming in this, and I'm ready to fight and be aggressive and battle, and like this is just supposed to be an interview and a conversation.
I was like, I thought interviews was supposed to be a conversation, and I thought in interviews you were supposed to be able to. You're not supposed to really learn about the host. You're supposed to learn about the guest. But he was flat out saying she was talking too much.
And I'm like, okay, I've heard a lot of, and I'm like, this is not. So nobody has to think I'm being biased, because first of all, I have no dog in any fight about either one of these people, because I'm very surface level knowledge on both of them. Obviously, I know who Cam Newton is, even though I'm not into sports like that. I know who Cam Newton is. It's not like I was like, who's Cam Newton? I know who he is. But I'm like, I've seen other interviews where it's people who aren't necessarily interviewers talking to a person who, who is intelligent, male, female, other, and just an education, like, not, I want to say intelligent because I don't want to demean him like that, but I'm saying like, if you're interviewing somebody, the point is, come with your things, ask a question, do something, and then you're supposed to let the person you're interviewing, especially in, like, 'cause this is like a Shannon Sharp type of setup. This is not really like a strict interview, like how old school used to be with like Barbara Walters and stuff like that. Or it's very structured. This was like more like conversational. So you ask a few questions here and there, you might clarify something, you might have an anecdote, whatever. But the point is, you let the person there talk. You let the person there answer. You let the we're supposed to get to know Dr. Bryant.
Right.
Period. Like if you watch Shannon, I'm supposed to get to know whoever is on Shannon Sharp show, whoever it is, whoever it is that day, that person is supposed to talk. Because everybody was playing about her. Well, let's go back, because everybody loved the Cat Williams interview. Cat Williams did the same thing she did. He talked for like 2 hours.
On vacation.
So like, everybody,
I'm pretty sure he didn't mind.
No, like everybody that comes on Shannon Sharp, 2 hours plus, they just talk with Shannon coming in and here and there with a couple little questions, a couple of tidbits. And then, and that's how he is with everybody the ones I've seen. Is he's just like here and there, boop, drop a little question, boop, 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 input something, boop, 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 person talk. So I'm like, what? Everybody was like, she talked too much. I was like, not for this setting.
Interviewed.
Like if she had like a 20-minute interview slot, then yeah, she probably to wrap it up a bit. But it was 2.5 hours. I was like, all these podcasts are long.
Like he wanted her to acting like he wanted her to give one-word answers, but she was being interviewed. But she has to entertain, and she has to give knowledge. You know, she has to keep the conversation going, all that at the same time. And
but she would answer and clarify.
She probably noticed early on that the energy was off, and she was going to have to take control.
Mm-hmm. Like she would answer and clarify. Answer and give more detail. Like, because the stuff he's asking, yeah, she could get on and answer probably in a few words. But that's not.
Who wants to hear that?
Like, well, because I'm like, if she's going to answer in a few words, that's probably answers I already knew or heard from somebody else. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not. I want to hear her point of view. I want to hear how she thinks and feels. And the only way I would get that is letting her express how she thinks, express her opinion, express her education and experience and background, the statistics, everything. So I can be like, oh, wow, okay, I see where you're coming from. Even if I didn't agree, I can at least understand, okay, I see why she thinks this way. I see why she, whatever. I was just like, it wasn't that deep. Like, it wasn't, she was talking just long. She was fine. My point comes down to she was fine.
Right. She was, but yeah, she did a good job. Her answers were, she was trying to be as fair as she could. It seemed like, you know, she was, even though she could have, if she was a different type of person, she could have really humiliated him.
And I love that she actively didn't.
Right. She was trying not to, because he was doing it on his own. He was acting like a 3-year-old that was not getting his way, and he was throwing a fit.
Because a lot of times he was like acting like, again, I don't know if he was acting like he didn't understand or if he actively did not understand, because it could be a bit of both, I think, to some things. And I just was like, you're not even, you're actively not you're doing this on purpose to not get what you
when
saying.
He was like, well, I asked you a question, you didn't answer the question. I'm like, she answered the question 3 different times, 3 different ways.
Like, do you not know what clarification is? And I'm like, okay, here, you are Cam Newton. You know how interviews are done. You've been interviewed. You know good dog and well if somebody would used to ask you a question about your game or your team game, and then you want to answer it, but then you know it's more detail in just an answer. That means you would probably speak longer than what they want, because it's more detail you need to give to clarify or quantify or qualify that answer. She was doing the same thing. Like, yes, this means that, but also this means that because of this other thing. Yep. That was all she was doing. Like,
I think that he was trying so hard to steer her in the direction that he wanted it to go, that he couldn't hear what she was saying, because she wasn't saying the things that he needed her to say to go where he was trying to go. Because when all he could hear was when he asked her, do you want to get married, this and this and that. When he was asking her if she had a role model, I guess, of a marriage that she wanted. And when she was saying, she said this a couple different times, that she had people who had healthy relationships around her, but she doesn't want to pattern her relationship off of anybody else's relationship, because she wants what she wants. And also, when you put 2 different individuals together, you're going to make your own type of relationship. That's what she was saying. She didn't want something that somebody else wants. Ooh,
and she was saying that even what she sees could not be that. So what she sees as, okay, I'm looking from the outside, or what I've been told, or what I think I know, it could be looking amazing, but you might not know all the minutia of this relationship, and you say you want that, and you get it and be like, oh, whoa, I didn't know this was going on.
Right. So, all this, I didn't know. And this one, he got after, I don't care how you get all loud and get all in the camera and raise your voice.
And she wasn't even loud. She wasn't even loud.
She was passionate, you know, but
And I'm going to tell you, that hit me on a little bit of a personal, because I was like, see, I'm real tired. I'm real tired of men saying loud black women. Her voice at no point was loud. Because she wasn't whispering and baby voicing you or anybody. She was not loud. Like, stop, Ken. Stop. That was so ridiculous.
Because I haven't seen her in any other interviews or him interview other people. I'm like, is he usually like this? Because if he is, how is people still coming to watch this? Because that was...
From looking at his... I haven't watched any yet, which I do want to... That's why I'm like, I don't want to give definitive statements on if this was an outlier and he's not normal. I don't know. But scrolling through his catalog of who he interviewed, he tends to interview a certain type of person, and they all aren't the caliber of Dr. Bryant. That's all I'm gonna say. So he's used to so they were like a reality star, or like somebody who's not coming in from educational or type of I don't want to keep saying the word, but that's kind of what it is, like coming from an intellectual standpoint interview, but more just, real talk. That's how type of fun interview. You're not necessarily going to get deep, because that's not even how the person is coming into it. So it seems like that's kind of what he's been doing, and not necessarily a person like Dr. Bryant. And that if he's been, used to kind of talking to those kind of people, somebody like her is going to throw you off. They not coming in like that.
I think where he messed up was, if you're having a conversation, you're having a conversation. You're not trying to direct it in any certain way, and I think that's where he messed up, is trying to direct the conversation and also taking everything so personal.
And you don't have to agree. And almost like he felt like it almost seemed like he thought a lot of more of agreement should be happening, when that's not reality. Like, you can have a conversation, you can have an interview, you can have a discussion, whatever. You don't have to agree on everything a person says one way or the other, because she didn't agree with everything he said, and she would just say, I don't agree with that, but I understand where you're coming from, but I understand your point. That's all she would. But it's like he kept coming like, well, I don't agree. I'm like, okay, fine. Hey, Cam. I was like a couple times, like watching. I was like, come down. It's all right.
He was throwing. He was leaned all back. Like she would say stuff. It was like he was shut down. Like, how you supposed to be interviewing people and you shut down? So she had to ask questions, think on her feet, answer the question, keep going. You know what I'm saying? Have to take a break, stroke his ego.
Or the amount of times he would say, I didn't say that. You misconstrued it. And I would have to go back, because I'm like, am I crazy? I had to go back. I'm like, but no, you did say that.
I think he's used to gaslighting and manipulating women, and it was just hard for him to do it with her. Because he even admitted it, because he said that he can control. He didn't say control.
He can take any woman and make her into what he wants. And I was like, yikes. When I heard that statement, I was like, all y'all types of dude that's in the comments, because I know what types is in there. It's the alpha male Kevin Samuels dudes, hoteps as some of us call them. Is they was like, they missed all that. They just what, because again, the way I was like, that is insanity. Nobody should say that. No,
that's why she was like, "You my guy." She said, "I'm going to allow you to do this. I'm going to allow you to do that, but you can't just say I change you." Like
she was like, "You are not the Potter. You no.
You can never be."
She was like, and she said, "No man or woman, nobody can do that."
No, she was like, she said, she can't just let that go.
She was like, you can't do that, I can't do that, nobody can do that. That's no. That person that person comes to you, you tell them what you want, and they agree and submit to that and do that. Because as soon as it's over, then that no longer is the thing. So that's why, no, you can't make that. You can't, that's not possible. Nobody can make that. And if you are making that, that is called something, I can't say the word on YouTube because they don't like saying it, but it's called something starts with an A, ends with an E. So,
right.
That's no, you're not making
Sounds like
anybody.
Uncle Yusuf.
Yeah, like you should not even want to. Like, my thing is, I'm single, but you know, everybody knows that. I do not want to make a guy into what I want. That's stressful. Why would I, like, it's one thing to be like, we can work on these things
together
as a couple. Yeah. What, you know, me, okay, well, I'm fine with, okay, that makes sense. We can compromise, but I don't want to see a dude who, I guess, going by Cam's opinion, looks attractive and has some money, I guess is what you
that's all you need.
And then be like, everything else I don't like, but I can make him the one. No, I can't. That's insanity.
No, you can't. And somebody in the comments said, obviously he can't turn.
Thank you. Because if that was the case, you would be married.
Because he got 3 baby mamas.
Because if your argument is you can make somebody that, then Cam, why aren't you married? Because you're saying you're waiting to get married till you find that one, and you waiting and you waiting and you waiting. Why are you waiting? You should be able to pick a woman and just make her your wife.
Right, because you can change her into wherever you want.
So why are you waiting? Just find one you think look cute and make her your wife. That's your argument. Any woman you with could be the woman you with right now. She should be your wife. You could just make her your wife.
Right.
I don't even understand. Damn. You hear the words come out your mouth, Cam.
I had to look around the room when he said that. I was like, you actually said that out your mouth loudly? Like, most people wouldn't say that.
He didn't even hear it, because even when she was breaking it out and explaining it, it took a while. And I don't even think he still fully agreed or comprehended. It was like, you didn't even hear what you said. Like, for you to just confidently say that. No hesitation. He didn't stutter. He didn't stumble. His voice didn't drop. He didn't. He just said it with his whole chest. Like, I can just form a. I was like, that's wild. That's wild talk. That's wild talk. That is. Whole chest. He said I was like, wow.
I'm like, so you said that loudly, knowing you got you have a girlfriend, right? I don't know if old girl is just his
the one he's with now. I think they said that is his. If what I looked up, if I remember accurately, the one he's with now is his most recent baby mama,
Jasmine, right?
His girlfriend. I think that's her name. Yeah.
And when I was pregnant with one of the girls, I used to watch her videos.
I think he has 6 biological kids and 2, but he claims 8. If I remember what I looked at correctly.
Right. I liked her point when he was saying he likes to take things slow, but she was like, no, you're very active.
Yeah, like, no, she's like, you're very active in very specific places. You're like, no, you're slow on this part. Like the wife part, your patience is at 1,000. But when it comes to everything else, you are extremely active, my guy.
when I think that she felt like she had no other choice but to call him selfish, because that is selfish.
Yeah. Even when he was like, well, they live with me. Okay, but she was like, well, then it's still broken in the other direction, because she was like, are all the mothers living with you? He was like, no. And she was like, well, then it's broken in the other way. Their mothers aren't in the home. So either way, if you're saying it's not broken because all my kids live with me, but she was saying before, you're not, daddy's not there all the time. He, from sun up to sundown, he was like, well, no, all my kids live with me. And she was like, okay. She was like, do all the baby mamas live with you? He was like, no. And she was like, okay, well, it's broken the other way. Mama's not there from sun up to sundown. It's still the same argument. Like, it's still the same thing. And again, because he was already came into this in a combative mentality. And he just got more and more agitated and sensitive as the podcast went on. Every word she said, he took as an attack. Yeah. But like she was saying, she wasn't like you hearing broken and taking it as her saying bad. And she was like, I come from a broken home.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
She said her mama was a crackhead, daddy.
She said my mama was a dopehead. My daddy was out in the streets. But he was at home with us. But he was out there as a as a hood and gangster dude. That's what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. And she said she had to learn. She had to learn what not to do.
Yes. So she was like, that's what took. She was like, that's what when it comes to relationship. She was like, I had to heal that little girl that had issues, the abandonment from the mama, from other stuff. I had to heal all that because I kept my relationships was getting jacked up because she was like, my trauma and brokenness was getting with other people's trauma and brokenness, and it wasn't good on nobody's part.
Yeah, she laid it out.
But he couldn't hear that. It's like he never heard her say. It's like he never heard her say.
She said she came from a broken home, all that. She said she got abandonment issues that she's working on still. She trying not to run away, trying to stay. She said she laid out what her flaws were.
But it's like all he heard was her attacking him and almost like her saying she didn't have problems, which she actively never said and went out of her way to express. I still do have things I'm working on. I've just done work to heal some things. That's all she ever said. But for something, and again, that's what happens when he was already defensive. He was taking everything personal, and you taking it personal because with the stuff she's saying in a general term, you're taking it as she's talking about you. But the only way you would think she's talking about you is if you somewhere acknowledge that what she's saying is you. Otherwise, you ain't gonna care. Like, I can be upset in general when people dog out black women as a whole because I'm a black woman. I can, but I won't take things personal on certain things because I'm a black woman, but I'm not doing these things. So when they talking about black women doing certain things, well, they're not talking about me because I'm not doing that. But you taking it, she didn't say all black men. She didn't say all men. She was talking about a specific type of thing. Like, she was talking about specific men doing specific things, specific women doing specific things. I'm like, even when she had to break down that men are with other men and women are with other women, I'm like, dude, how are you not?
Like, he didn't
and she
know.
was like, every relationship is not going to be heterosexual. Like, what are you even? She was like, other men pick low value, like, other men pick them too.
Yeah.
And it was like, he didn't even get that. Like, oh, yeah, gay people exist, Cam. I'm sorry. I know your mind wasn't there because you was so caught up on making sure people knew you weren't gay. Nobody thinks you gay, Cam. I need.
Well, I'm
gonna speak to our community, black men. You don't have to defend your sexuality to this degree. I didn't come into it thinking Cam was gay.
No matter what you do.
Like, no,
even
I don't
if
think
he is.
But I'm saying I didn't come in thinking Cam is gay. Like, I mean, I'm thinking my mindset was, oh, he's a straight man because he, just from what I know about him. I don't think her even saying anything, and he was like, I've never been with a man. We Cam.
No, she wasn't saying that. She was saying he has to think in broader terms.
No, when she was talking about, but he brought up member sizes and races, and she was saying,
oh, I don't think I heard that part.
Yeah, and she was saying, I don't believe only black men have large sizes and white men don't.
God.
And she was like, she was like, have you ever seen a man? She was like, no. She was like, have you ever seen? She was like, have you ever been with a man? No, I've never. Just to be clear, I've never been with a man. She wasn't saying you were. Her point was, if you've never been with a man, you cannot speak on this because you've never been with a man.
I think he's no judgment though. I said no judgment, but I don't think he's just straight. No judgment though.
I ain't gonna get into that. But I'm saying but I'm like, her point was never insinuating that he was. Her point was saying, how can you make a definitive statement on package size from what reference point?
I didn't know. Some must have tuned out when I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, because he kept on making insinuations about, he kept on trying to demean and degrade that. Like when she said functionality, he was like, if you think functionality, and she was like, she paused.
Well, I didn't like when he
was
talking like that to her because
she was like, you saw all, like, she was joking a lot with him during it, and even when he was being a little petty passive, she was like, okay. And then, but when he did that, she got real serious and sat up. She was like, are you asking me, did we make love? Are you asking me, was
Because he was
were we
trying
intimate?
to be derogatory, like he was trying to be nasty with it, like.
And then she was like, "What are you asking me? Like, and why are you asking me that?" And then she was like, "It was good. It wasn't the best I ever had, but that's not the point."
Right. He was trying to make everything about material and like lower level, like root chakra stuff, when she was like talking about substance. She was talking
Very
about
much
a person who might not make it. What she said, he wasn't staying with his mom, but he made less than her, which means he was still able to take care of himself, but he just made less than her. But he gave her the other things besides material things that she needed. But he wasn't.
She was saying he was high functioning, but he was what people would consider low value,
right?
Because of the income with them both. But she was like, but he was high functioning. So I was like, Cam.
He didn't want to accept none of that.
No, because he made a few little statements to her, like was about like really demeaning in a way.
Yeah, and I was trying to put somebody in the comments.
Because even he brought up, he tried to be slick slide with some about 52, and I was like,
yeah. And did you see how she crossed her legs when he was talking about CAT, and he was being like he was being kind of aggressive with it and talking about like, and then she crossed her legs real fast. Like I don't think she even noticed that she did that. But I think like her body just was like reject.
We gonna black this off. We blacking this off today. But when like he was kind of insinuating that her and 50 had done something, and it's the reason she didn't want to talk about him in a negative way. And I was like, that's so out of pocket and disrespectful on so many levels. Because you just said you're basically insinuating that the only reason 50 wanted to do anything with her was because he either wanted to or already is in her pants. That is so disrespectful and disgusting.
That was really
and I'm like, that's degrading to both 50 and her. Because now you saying 50 so stupid. He ain't even a good businessman. He getting led. He's spending money and putting dollars out led by his.
No, he is a good businessman, and she's good at what she does. Obviously,
yeah. I'm like, but you're saying basically 50 makes money moves because he want to get some.
That's not
really.
No.
And she's not good at what she does. She only got it because 50 got some. Okay, both of those statements are dumb. I reject both of those statements.
Okay, because 50 has kids, so
yeah.
Anyway,
a lot of people have like issues with 50. And very valid issues with 50.
Right, very valid.
That was not even where she was coming from. That's when he kept on treating. Was like, if 50's here, we'll talk about 50. Otherwise, I'm not going to go into that right now. And he was so upset about that. You brought up Oprah and Stedman. She brought up Oprah and Stedman
in an example.
An example way that wasn't even digging deeper. To you asking her to do what you asked her to do with you. She was like, well, I'm not going to do that with him. But you asked me to do with you. You asked me to do that.
But she didn't say nothing bad about Oprah or Stedman.
And she really just said what people have been saying about Oprah and Stedman, which is Stedman is not at Oprah's. People never phrased it like she did, but people been saying about Stedman that he ain't at her level when it comes to financials. People
but he
been
saying it about some type of level. They've been together.
Because they've been together forever and a day.
Correct.
And he ain't went nowhere. And he ain't done no interviews putting her down. He ain't wrote no books. He ain't been no leaks nowhere. He minded his Stedman business.
Stedman business. You see him, this is Stedman at a conference. Oh, okay. Stedman with his new book. Okay, Stedman.
Okay. Stedman doing his Stedman business. He was like, y'all do what y'all want to do. I don't care. He ain't jumping out, constantly defending, Oprah's not gay. He ain't. He is. Oprah is Oprah, and Stedman is Stedman, and they doing their own thing.
Yeah. Whatever they got, they got it worked out. So
thank you. So that was her whole point with that thing, and he was like, "Well, that's different." No, it's not. It doesn't matter that Oprah is at the 1.111,000% of whatever. You trying to tell me that Oprah couldn't have found any other person that's at her level financially to date? Are you serious? Every person that's a billionaire is not a celebrity. There's billionaires we do not see anywhere. So she could have found a billionaire if she wanted a billionaire. Like, they do exist.
She wants statement, so leave her alone.
And that's what I'm saying. They is living their life, and they've been living their life for decades.
Okay.
Child-free and unmarried.
Scandal-free, at least since I've been an adult. I don't know about when I was younger.
I don't know nothing about no scandals with Stedman and Oprah. I ain't heard none. If it happened,
I know they broke up a couple times when they first started dating, and that's it.
Well, obviously they worked through it.
Yep.
Shoot. So I was like, it's. I just was like, somebody come get Cam. Somebody give him he need a Snickers.
Did it seem like he was more receptive towards the end of the interview?
Because he calmed down. I don't know if it just took a minute for him to I think it probably, I don't know. It's like it just took a minute, and I think he might have realized that he was getting out of pocket. Because sometimes it can hit you, and you could be like, I am wilding out right now.
Hey, yeah, hey,
yeah,
hey, look at you.
Yeah, because that's even what she was saying. Like, and she was like, when she was explaining what high functioning, she was like, it's not that you don't feel the emotions that somebody that's low functioning is. You feel all the same emotions. You just know how to take that time to just be like, okay, wait, how I'm going to express these emotions without somebody feeling attacked, and that they can understand what I'm saying and feeling. So I'm like, I think if he took nothing else away from what she said, he needs to work on his functioning level. Just as a human. Like, you and a grown man. You need to work on that. And just everybody does. Because I was like, I need to work on some things. Thank you, Dr. Bryant. Shoot.
Yeah. That's what people saying in the comments. Like, okay, she didn't open my eyes.
Because some people like, I thought I was more high functioning than I was. I got stuff to work on. Shoot.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what if you are listening to learn, or listening for curiosity, then you can see that without it destroying your whole day. You feeling like you got to fight somebody, because a hit dog will holler, and he was yelling loud as all get out.
Yes, because I'm like, I know, if she was talking to me, my soul would have acted up just because emotions happen. Especially if she hitting something you want to acknowledge or you don't want to deal with.
I gotta breathe.
That's the thing. It's like, take a breath, recenter yourself, and listen to what is being said.
Do you want to learn? Do you want to do better? You want to be better? Okay, well, sit down and listen. It's not gonna always feel good.
It's not gonna always feel good. Because people in the comments calling her a spiritual surgeon, I said exactly right. Because the surgery does not feel good, but after the surgery is over, you feel you. That's when you start recovering. So it's not gonna feel good. It's not gonna feel good while it's happening. But once everything heals up, you're gonna be better than you were. So it's gonna hurt. So that's what I saw it as. He was in surgery and it hurt, and his soul did not want to deal with it. And that's his right. He is not ready. He is not ready. So you saw her back off a lot. Like, he's not. This about to be going left, and this supposed to be still kind of lighthearted. I ain't digging deeper than it need to be. Because she said, he asked her one thing, and she was like, that's something we can talk about in a one-on-one session.
Right.
This not the place.
She already knows, like, nah, you already calm down. I'm not trying to ride your little tender behind up again.
You're not ready. If you're not ready, you're not ready. And as in her profession, she knows he's not ready. Especially in the place they were. He's going to be on. He's trying to be entertainment. He's trying to be the Cam Newton. This is not the place to open him up and let him be sensitive and get to where she need to get to with him. This is not the venue. So even the question he asked her, she was like, no, this we can talk about that in one-on-one session. We can. That's not today.
Because when they was about to play the game, and he was like, he asked her, did she play games? Or
she's like, oh, games. Oh, you don't play games?
Yeah, he's talking about, that 26-year-old gonna come with a lot of games. She didn't say she just wanted a 26-year-old. She said that's her limit. That's her age limit. She didn't say she just wanted a little young boy. She said that's her age limit.
And then she said something else, and he was like, you don't have kids. She was like, oh, you don't have kids. Why? Why again? Why was that necessary?
You don't have to have kids to know if you're creating a broken home or not.
Like, I'm saying, that was like, he said that right before they started the game. And I'm like, why would you, why
he was just trying anything he could to bring her down.
Like what? And she didn't even respond. She just laughed. She just laughed. She didn't even respond to it.
She said she didn't have kids.
We all know she don't have kids. We got it. It's been at this point, it's been over 2 hours. We all know she doesn't have kids at this point. In 2 hours, we all know she doesn't have kids. We all know she comes from a broken home. We all know she's never been married. At this point, we know she's been engaged at least twice, and she called off both. She got 6 kids from her daddy with 5 different women. Her mama is the VP. We all have this information now, Cam.
Right.
You don't need to keep reiterating she's not married and she don't have kids. Well, Cam, neither are you. So I don't even know what we talking about her not being married. You are not married either. So
right. The big thing is you, sir, are not married.
Thank you. Like because he was like, she was like, you're single. So are you, Cam. I would hate to break it to you. You're not single until you're married. You're single until you're married. You're single when you're married. Like you're single, then you're married, and then you're no longer single. That's how that works.
Trying to bring her down and humble her. And why was it? It was only the men in the comments saying this, that she wasn't no better because she was a baby mama. Where did they hear that?
Who was the baby mama?
Dr. Bryant.
Where? Whose baby?
They kept saying it in the comments.
What baby? Whose? Where? Where the baby? At no point, like, you try to tell me you 2 hours in this thing and you ain't realize she ain't got no kids? Okay, so you just gonna make up stuff.
Just saying stuff. It's gotta be something wrong. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, it's something wrong because she's 41 and she's not married, don't have kids yet. Okay.
They were saying she failed. Like, she didn't fail. She didn't fail by not passing on, not creating another relationship that's failed because she knows what she wants. So she should jump into anything because she's supposed to be in a relationship. She's just supposed to have a kid with anybody.
Yep, but then y'all dog got women that do that. Because women that do have kids with
saying in the comments.
If she had a child or 2 or 3 or 8 with 3 different dudes, but she ain't never been married, well then now y'all gonna drag her to the white meat.
Yep.
Even though she's accomplished, even though she's not looking for a man to take care of her, even though she can take care of her and her kids at this point in her life, if she were to have a child alone,
y'all
still would attack her.
And it's not like she was like man bashing or anything. She wasn't even.
She actively said in her career, in her practice, in her dealings, 70% of the women she dealt with were low functioning and 40% of the men. And she repeatedly kept saying men and women, and women, unless she was specifically talking about a thing that only pertains to men or women. She kept saying and women. Like, again, y'all get so hung up on she attacking men at where? Is her attacking men in the room with us right now?
That feels attacked.
Is her attack in the room with us right now? Because I promise you, I did not feel attacked one time. And she said some stuff I know I need to work on. And not at one point did I feel attacked. I felt grateful. I said that hurt. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. But I needed it.
I'm saying if your whole purpose is to grow, you take a little sting and keep going.
I said, ooh, Dr. Bryant. What's up? But I needed to hear it. And she wasn't even talking to me. She wasn't just like singling me out. But I was like, okay, you right. You right.
Yep.
What am I saying? You right.
Yeah. Why as I say in the comments, somebody was talking about it was hard for them to hear anything that he was saying. I said this I commented under somebody's post on his video because of what he had on. That's what I was like, who is gonna say something about them little leggings? Like
no, I didn't say it, but I did see somebody was like, he don't even understand he got on his baby mama leggings. So I was like, y'all wrong. You wrong for that. You dirty for that. That was low and unnecessary.
I just needed somebody to say something about them little leggings because I was like, come on now. And I said he was up there. I said something like he was up there acting like a spoiled brat, looking like the Black Mad Hatter.
I'm tired of you, low. It's dirty. But you could say, I'm like, all the immaturity in him just escaped the reins for them 2 hours. He lost control almost immediately. Like, it wasn't even like, an hour and a half in, he started, like, it was almost immediate. Like when he asked where is she from, and she was like, I'm from LA, yada da da, everything she said, cool. And she got done. I just asked where you from.
Okay.
Okay, what are we doing right now?
Behind interview.
What are we doing? So she was just supposed to say, I'm from LA?
Boom.
That's what she was supposed to answer? That's, you know how boring that would have been? Like, if something, like, I've never seen an interview that is long form like this. I've seen it obviously in people that have interviews that are like 20, 30 minutes or 15. They got to condense a lot. But long form like this, nobody just like, where are you from? LA. Okay. Like, you would be like, okay, that's it? That's all she gonna say? Mm-hmm. She done? You will be like, okay.
Then they be talking about how she doesn't know what she talking about,
she ain't got nothing to talk about. That's why she yeah. So like she said, I'm from LA, and then she went and she was like, my dad told me, like, when somebody asks where you from, and ask who you connected to. That's what they're asking you.
That's a part of where you from, where you came from, who you are.
Yes, that's basically what she was answering.
He was just trying to be difficult. Mm-hmm. The last thing I wanted to talk about is what he said about what his mom said about marriage. Mm-hmm. And I know that they were saying everybody be talking about how long him and his dad, his mom and his dad.
What did they say, 39 years?
Yeah, that's good. That it is a long time. But for her to say that everybody wants to get in this is paraphrase. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, because I don't remember exactly.
Everybody wants to get into a marriage or a relationship trying to get to heaven, but they don't want to go through hell or something like that. So I understand that on two different sides. If you're going to be in a relationship with someone, you have to understand that you're there to help them and support them no matter what goes on in life. If you make a lifelong commitment, because life is going to life, you know. At the same time, I'm talking about life, and I'm not talking about you constantly doing something to somebody, dragging them through hell and staying.
Yeah, we're talking about life. Life, like we're doing good, and somebody gets sick. We're doing good, and somebody get laid off. We're doing good, and the house burns down. Like we ain't talking about that kind of stuff.
Right. Right. That's life happening, not you constantly dragging somebody through hell and then saying
we doing good, and then one of y'all came in our house and set the house aflame, or we not talking about active things you did. You talking about, that's out of our control somehow.
Yeah. So that's basically what I wanted to say. Was there anything else any points you wanted to make outside of that, what we already talked about?
I would say the only other thing, one of the only other things, because I'm like, we're not trying to be on here all night, because we can be. But I would say one of the only other things that stood out to me was the way he phrased, I'm just dealing with what life handed me. I'm sorry. Life handed you 8 kids? Life handed you 8 kids and 3 baby mamas? I'm sorry. How does that occur? How does life hand you 8 kids and 3 baby mamas? How does life hand you that? I've known nobody in my life in all of my years to be handed children and three parents to go with them. Everybody I know that has multiple kids. Either the people I know that have multiple kids with one person, or multiple kids with multiple people, or one kid, one person, whatever the whatever way you frame it, male, female, and other. Something actively occurred once or multiple times to create this situation. So no, life did not hand you 8 children with 3 baby mamas. You and her handed yourself 8 kids with 3 baby mamas. This was 2 adults not being responsible repeatedly, or being responsible and making a decision to have kids. Those are the options we're working with right now.
Right.
Either y'all got together and said, we want to have kids together, we want to build a family, or y'all got together and was like, we don't really care if we have kids together, we're not going to make no controls, and we just going to let the whatever happen. But some choices were made.
Right. That's not what was handed. What was handed to you is the life that your parents gave you.
Thank you.
That's what was
handed to you, and you're dealing with that life that was handed to you,
right?
That you are living now. That other than that, that's not you dealing. That's not what that happened. We're not gonna frame it like that. We not gonna, because I'm like, y'all, we not gonna frame it like that. And I'm like, if I hear one more man say women gotta take accountability, all adults need to take accountability. Cam needed to take accountability. You are accountable for creating children. You are accountable for opening your mouth on your podcast and saying you want to have more children. Oh, let me rephrase. You want God to give you more children.
From somewhere.
Okay.
From somewhere.
Okay.
Not from a specific person, just from somewhere.
And I want to have, she was like, what do you, he just wants to have as many as the quote unquote Lord gives him.
She could have asked him why.
Okay. Probably the same. I promise you it's probably similar to what Nick's reason is. I promise you it's similar. I will be surprised if it's not. Not necessarily word for word, but I will be surprised if it's not similar. This whole legacy thing, which I'm just like
brokenness, just like a legacy. What are you multiplying? Whatever's in you is what you multiplying.
Thank you.
So what are you multiplying?
Because again, if you keep creating kids that are not with the same person specifically, especially if they're not with the same person, you are not ever going to be there for all those kids.
Nope.
It is literally, factually impossible for you to be 100% there for multiple kids from multiple women. Not gonna happen. It's just you gonna miss somebody, especially if they start being closer in age. Well, if you got 3 13-year-olds, okay. Well, what if each 13-year-old got someone the same day from school? What you gonna do? Who's you gonna pick? Because you can't be at both. You can't be at all 3. So somebody gonna have to record something to show daddy later, and then somebody else gonna have to record something to show daddy later. Or you gonna have to pick who you want to go to, and 2 of the 3 kids gonna be feeling left out because daddy wasn't there for mom, but he was there for XYZ child. That was her whole point. You can't be 100% there. Even married couples who have kids, you can't be there for every child all the time. It's not possible if you have a bunch of kids. Somebody's gonna get missed. And it was like he just kept taking that as personal, like you're a bad dad, when she was just saying you can't be.
She did, but she said she thought he was a good dad.
But he kept taking it as that because she was saying you can't be 100% there. It's not possible. And he kept taking it as she's saying you're just not a good father, and that she specifically said you are a good father. But again, when your soul was acting up and he was hearing. His that little boy up inside of Cam Newton was not listening today. And I don't know if he actually has been diagnosed with it or he just said it. But at the end, it sounded like he said he has ADHD. And if that is also an issue, and if it's not being dealt with and handled the right way, that would explain a whole lot.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I'm like, if she, I think that I was wondering if he was acting frustrated because her. She be with her, like, I'll say long-winded. I wouldn't call him long-winded, but just,
I'd rather call it detailed.
Right. If he was frustrated with her replies, it could be something that's like mental.
He could really be struggling understanding.
He couldn't follow
and staying focused. Yeah, he really could be struggling with focus and understanding.
And frustrated because things are supposed to look a certain way, and I don't know. I've never seen any of his other interviews.
No, but I do know people that have ADHD and ADD that are different ages, and you see certain things, and it's like some of the stuff he just came across is very petty in that uber masculine type of world that's like a certain way that's ridiculous. But then some stuff he did sound like a frustrated kid. He would say something like, "That's not what I said. That's not what you're misconstruing what I said." Like he was like a kid that's like that. That is what you said, but I'm gonna let you explain it again so I can make sure that I'm responding to what you want to make your point. Like she would say stuff like that. Like, oh, she was like, "That's what you said. That's what I heard you say, but I'm gonna let you explain it again." To make sure we're on the same page. If she would do that a lot, I'm just like...
She would be a good mother.
Like, she's like that. I was like, she was doctoring him through the whole thing. And it's like, he didn't get it. Like, she would be like, okay. She de-escalated so much. She was like, okay. Like, when she could tell he was getting worked up. Because it wasn't even like an adult anger. It was like a kid.
Yep.
Like, he was getting worked up. Not just like angry. You know what I'm saying? Like, adults when they get angry, how it looks.
Yeah.
He seemed like a fresh, like that's not what I said type of like, okay. Okay. Let's all bring it all okay, we'll all take a breath and calm down.
Emotions. He's learning his emotions.
You explain it again to me, Cam. Like that's what she was like, you explain it to me again, Cam, so I can make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying.
That's
and I'm like, the fact that he didn't even get what was happening, like
that is embarrassing.
And so when people in the comments was like, she was attacking him, I'm like, she was doing the opposite. First of all, she was talking to him like an adult. Second of all,
and then sometimes she had to talk to him like a child. She wasn't talking to him like a child, but
yeah, I'm like, she was like, again, like you're taking her as attack because again, a lot of y'all, I've seen it with men and women, y'all have this way that if a woman doesn't speak a certain way to a man, it's seen as aggressive or masculine or whatever. And I'm like, she looked the most feminine women I've seen. She, nails, heels, makeup, hair, dress, showing chesticles. Like, how much more ladylike does she need to be? Like, I don't know what more feminine you want. Like, y'all say you want women to look like women. I don't know what you're looking at right now. That looked like a woman to me.
She wasn't aggressive. She wasn't yelling. She was trying to be lighthearted about things. He was the one getting serious.
Yeah. But I'm like, the whole interview of itself,
she dropped a lot of gems.
I was like, I don't have any plans to rewatch it again, but I definitely do want to check out more about her. I definitely want to get her book. She said it's like 100 pages. So I'm like, oh, that's a quick read.
Quick.
I was like, I definitely want to know more about her. Cause I'm like, she's like the kind of person, like she's very much like work on yourself and the other stuff will come. And that's, I love people that have that mindset. Like you shouldn't be focusing on who you outward. Whatever you want, you gonna keep attracting trash till you fix the trash that's inside. You have to fix you, then you'll get what you want. But you can't just keep being surprised you getting a garbage because it's garbage inside of you. So I was like, that's the interview as a whole. Like, I thought I was gonna be more angry at him, just because looking at comments and stuff before I watched the video and just certain things. And like really, in a lot of ways, I feel bad for him because it's clear he needs to work on some things. Obviously not financially because he's good on that. But like, he really does need to work on, you can see it's like some stuff that he might just need to take a step back. Maybe, and I'm hoping like maybe he'll go back and look at it and be like, some of that did make sense. And my takeaway from the whole thing is, please let's promote therapy as something that you should do if you can afford to. Like, I think it will just like, if you can afford to, like, you don't need to always go to therapy when you have a severe issue. Like, okay, you have severe depression, you can't get out of bed. Okay, go to therapy. But sometimes you just need somebody that you can talk to, and they might give you some tools. Like, hey, have you ever thought about working on this? You ever thought about checking this out with you? with yourself? That's kind of, I felt like she's that kind of therapist that you would just go to and she'd be like, okay, what about if you worked on that with you? You're right, Dr. Bryant, I didn't think about that. But that's, I liked it as a whole. I liked her energy. I liked that she never let herself get pulled off into any of the stuff he was doing, trying to be ridiculous for no reason. I like that she never even get fed into that, to where the point where he would do stuff and she really wouldn't do nothing. He would just have to move on because he just would end up looking silly because she wasn't feeding back into that. So I really liked that. I'm like, I hope he has more people on that can challenge him in a way. Like, yeah, sometimes it's fun to have good interviews, like just fun, silly, lighthearted interviews. But I'm like, sometimes if you're going to be a person that does interviews, have some people on there that might challenge your perceptions. That's the kind of people you need to be interviewing. Like, maybe we do think different. Maybe we end up being like, we don't agree with each other at all, but I feel you. I respect you. Yes, that's a good interview. Not somebody's going to come on yelling and acting like a fool, but just somebody that can challenge you. Just be like, okay, well, what about this? Have you thought about this point of view? So that's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
Probably not going to look at any more of his necessarily, unless somebody that he has on pops up somewhere, because it's on my algorithm now because I watched the video. But personally, I don't see myself going to look at any more of his interviews, actively seeking them out. But It wasn't a bad interview to me.
That cigar really agitated my spirit. I don't know why.
Well, he said at the end, that's when he brought up ADHD. I think that was part of, because he was like, when he didn't have it anymore, that's when he started like fidgeting. At the end, he was like fidgeting a lot and looking away and looking around. So I was like, I think
if he had sometimes people with ADHD have poor impulse control.
So I'm saying, I don't know because some people just say it and they don't have it. But if he has been diagnosed with it and he does have it, again, it explains a lot of behaviors and reactions.
Not all of it, but some of it.
No, I said a lot. I said explains. Not excuses.
It explains him not being able to keep up with her answers, but the anger and aggression and throwing a fit, it don't none of that.
Well, it would explain it in the context of, if you already getting frustrated because you can't focus and understand it fully.
Yeah.
Your reaction could express yourself, instead of saying, I need you to clarify it, would be that, if you've never had somebody that helps you moderate your emotions. Whole other conversation. But yeah.
Yeah.
I said it wouldn't excuse it, but if he does actively have ADHD and is not being handled, if it's not being handled, I'll just leave it at that. I don't know if he does or doesn't, if he just said it, if he's not getting help for it, I don't know. But if, it would explain some things in some reactions I saw. That's where I believe it.
Yeah.
Which I think she kind of, when she said it, she was like, oh, okay. When he said at the end, she was like, oh, okay. Like, if that's true, I got it now. I got what I'm seeing.
Right. Let me see. What did I get out of it? I don't know what I was just really agitated. I don't really think I got too much from it. It was some things that she said personally when I heard it, that I was like, oh, okay, that I thought would help me.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember what they are now because of everything else going on. But the last thing though I did want to say was, he said she wasn't going to be able to find any man at all because she didn't want a man with kids. And I was like, get out of here.
Like, there's plenty of men that
men and women are going child free right now.
Yes. Especially because she said, I don't need a man that's a billionaire. That's not what she was saying. I don't think she really wants a man that's doing nothing with his life. That wouldn't even work with her life path. It just wouldn't work. But she, if that's not her standard, she's not saying, I need a man that's a billionaire status. There's plenty of men that are doing well for themselves who have 0 kids.
Right.
And they aren't all 27. Like, there's plenty of older men her age, men a little younger, men a little older, no kids, not a child in sight. It's not impossible. But again, she's like, whatever, when God brings my husband to me, she's not actively just like, bring me a man, Jesus. Like, she's like, I want to get married, but that's not her end all be all to life.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's her preference. I don't know how you get mad at people's preference. Unless your preference is actually putting down the opposite, which she never did. Which, again, he kept taking her preference personally because for some reason, I don't know if he thought he had a chance. I don't know.
Because he asked her 2 very specific questions at the end. Like, sir, what is this? This is an interview?
Like, a lot of people were pointing that out in the comments. It's like, he really is acting like he's mad because he thought he had a shot and he's finding out he doesn't have a shot. And he realized he can't, like, bring her down enough to be like, okay, Cam, you the one. Like, I don't. Why are you like? You're acting like you're acting like somebody tried to set y'all up, and you just found out she didn't really want to date you.
Oh, I don't like him.
Like, that was like, that's how his reactions were coming across. Like, y'all got 2 friends that tried to hook y'all up, and you found out she was like, I don't want to date Cam. He got kids. Like. And she didn't say, I don't want to date Cam because he have kids. She said, I don't want to date men that have kids. You, Cam Newton, happen to be a man that has kids. Because even when he was like, what age? Okay, well, she said the lowest is 27-ish. So he's already, that's not a good question because he's like 35.
Well, she said that's the lowest. And she said she don't.
But I'm saying, but I'm saying he knows he's younger than her. So you already like, that's already kind of weird. And then his reactions was just like, Cam, was she an option that I missed? Like,
I don't think
y'all want to date?
He must have missed it too. He must have missed it. He got a girlfriend too. I don't know what's wrong with him.
I was like, you were really acting like she turned Cam Newton down. That's how he was acting. Like he was acting like she came on and publicly turned Cam Newton down for a date. And like, again, like that's how I feel. Like if somebody says I don't really want to date black women and they're black, the issue isn't that. Fine, you don't have to date black women, but it's a difference between saying that and I don't want to date black women because all black women are loud and dumb and ghetto. Okay, well then, whoa, that's well. See, now why did you have to do that? Right. So she didn't say men with kids are trash. She said, for Dr. Bryant, I do not want to date a man with kids. That is not my preference. Again, I don't know when you don't have to agree with her preference, Cam. It's her preference. Right. Like, I even like when she said, well, you need to talk to the source. I'm the source. You can't tell me, like when he just made a statement about her to her face. And she was like, well, you can't say that about me. I'm right here. I'm the source. So you have to ask me if that's true. You know, I love that statement. Like, ask the source. Why are you talking about the source?
I don't like when people tell you how but you know, if you know, you don't know.
She was like, well, I'm right here. You can ask me. And I can answer the question for you. You know,
everything ain't black. I don't like when people think everything is black and white and everything is how they perceive it. That's really a really limited way of thinking. When just because you think, well, all you need is some money, and women like her ain't gonna be with a man who don't make a certain amount, and that's just how.
Well, even because when he made that blanket statement of no high value woman even looks at a low value man. Well, that's factually false. Like that's statistically, like provably, we could look at data. That's false. It's false. You know why it's false? Because it's false. We're not doing opinions. We're not doing anecdotes. There's numbers. There's statistics you can look up.
That he told himself to get where he is. One of the things that he told himself to get where he is.
Mm-hmm. Because what triggered him the first time was when he said that, and she said, well, she was like, that's not true, because the women I'm around, the women I talk to professionally, the numbers show that men that are considered low value
are married,
or even have a bunch of kids by a bunch of different women, and that's when he got set off. Because that's he was like, no, wait, now okay, well, sir, well, first of all, she just said low value. We all know you're not considered low value, Cam Newton. Like, so she's not talking about you. She's talking. You asked her about low value men. Do you now consider yourself low value? Like,
when you gonna get offended at everything?
Like, if she's saying low value men do actually get married and or have a bunch of kids and sometimes by a bunch of different women, and you are not low value. The only thing that matches is you have a bunch of kids by a bunch of different women. But if are you now saying you're low value, Cam? On your big platform? Really? Retired football player Cam Newton? Really? Are we doing this today? Like she was saying, but because you brought it up. You said high value women don't look at low value men, and she said, "Well, that's not true. It is plenty of women that are considered high value and be just fine with a low value man because a lot of times they're high functioning." And that's what. So I don't know how you got offended in that, because she happened to also mention some of those men who y'all consider broke be having a bunch of kids still. So somebody want them. And every woman that they get with ain't some street woman.
That's what she was saying.
A lot of professional looking women like, what?
A lot of the women make more.
Yes. And they're just fine with their low value man.
He lives in his own world. I think maybe he's had money for so long, he's not in reality. Like, I don't know.
Yes. And low value doesn't even always mean, like she said, he's living in his mom's basement. She was like, well, people consider low value could just be he makes less than her or whatever. So, like, it's plenty of women that are with what society, whatever, considers low value. And he was like, that's reality. Well, no, because everybody doesn't consider low value the same across the board. So that's
society. She gave him her definition.
Yeah, and he was like, that's reality. Okay, Cam. Okay, well, I don't think we want to go into reality, because then we're going to start discussing how people keep excusing the fact you keep creating all these kids with different women that ain't been married, but a woman can have one child with one man and end up marrying somebody else, and y'all drag her all over the street. Sierra, anybody? Sierra, we're going to talk about how y'all treat her? No? Okay, well, let's leave it alone then. Because somebody in the comments, a bunch of people in the comments was like, let's be for real. If Cam didn't have money, and he was just Cam Newton from round the way, and he had 8 kids with 3 different baby mamas, y'all be calling him what he is. But because he has money, all of y'all have made the excuse that what he's doing is perfectly fine. Again, it is what it is. It is what it is.
He's still very much that.
But a lot of people was like, but he is. We can sit here and applaud his achievements.
And then you want more. What are you? That's what I was saying the other day. What are you doing? Collecting Pokemon? What you want more for?
Exactly. I'm saying we can all applaud his achievements.
These are human lives.
We can all acknowledge what he's, achieved in his life. We can all, acknowledge his successes and, for what he did, what he has accomplished, what he is still doing. We can acknowledge the fact that he does at least financially take care of his kids, and in some way or other, he's there for his kids. But we can also live, as he said, in reality. Mm-hmm. And anybody who, y'all all know good doggone well, if he was not rich, but especially if he was a woman, this conversation would be a completely different conversation. Mm-hmm. But because of the fact y'all want to keep making excuses, men, how y'all love to say women don't hold other women accountable. Hoteps and moteps. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's, again, as my girl says, let's call a thing a thing. She said what it was. We were making selfish decisions. Yep. It is what it is.
It is what
doesn't
it is.
Doesn't make him a bad man. Doesn't make him a good man. More. It's a fact. It's a factual statement. He's making selfish decisions.
Because if he does, just like she was saying, if he does get married, then he's going to have a home where a woman and the husband and the wife are living together with whatever kids that he makes with her, and the other kids are not going to have that.
No. So they're going to have mommy and daddy in the home. And all the other kids are not going to have mommy and daddy in the home. They're going to have daddy and stepmama. And all them kids might not even live with you because for different. The disconnect was wild. And he didn't want to hear it. That's what I said. It's clear he was not ready to hear it. That's why she kept trying to move on, and he kept trying to bring it back. When he asked her, I was like, Cam, you can't get mad when she answered the question you asked. You just asked her, am I low or high value? She clarified, and he was like, either one. Okay, well then now you can't get mad if she answered the question you asked her. He wasn't ready. He was obviously clearly not ready for that kind of personal conversation. He wasn't ready to even entertain a conversation that could be vaguely about him. So he just wasn't ready. He was not in a place to hear that. I was so glad that she just never let it get deeper than it needed to be.
She was too focused and had too much control of herself. Mm-hmm. Yep. She was in control of herself. She didn't have to control him because she was in control of herself.
Yeah, first of all, she couldn't control him, but he couldn't ride off into the sunset emotionally because she kept control of herself, and she didn't let it even go there. She didn't even let her. You didn't even go there with her. This wasn't about to be no argument. It wasn't about to be a debate. You're not gonna make it seem like she's attacking you when she's not. Like, she was like, we're not. Nope. We're not doing this. So he had to keep almost reeling himself back in, because if her energy ain't matching the energy you trying to take it to, then you just gonna be shown as yelling at somebody for no reason.
Exactly. She didn't get rowdy with him, so all you can see is him.
So he had to keep probably bringing it back, because he has enough awareness to know, okay, if I keep going down where I'm going, I'm just yelling at her at this point, and it's weird.
I hope. I feel like if he's to the point where he's saying that he can turn anyone into who he wants them to be, he possibly could be too far going. But I hope that if he looks at this and can reflect. But yeah, but if you're to the point where you're saying you can change people to who you want them to be, I don't know if he.
Like, I hope he can. And if nothing else, I hope at least some people in his audience got something. Like,
yeah, because that's what she said she was talking to.
Yeah, like, I hope at least some people in his audience were like, okay, you know what? I pick up what she's putting down. I need to work on some things.
It was and even in her comments, I think, in her comments or his, it was a guy who went through the same thing, and he said he didn't know how his kids felt about him until they was grown and they told him about it. And I was glad that he said something.
Oh, same situation Cam's in?
Yep. Had, kids in different houses and stuff, but he was taking care of them. He said he took care of them financially and thought everything was fine until they got older and told them how they missed him.
Mm-hmm. And I saw a few people. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he said he had to accept that. I'm glad he said that because it wasn't a lot of that in the comments.
I saw a few people, like I saw a couple people say stuff like he's not really gonna know how his kids feel about. Like he could say anything about how his kids feel now. They're still young. Yeah, and like I don't think his kids are that old, like from the oldest to the youngest. But they, they're gonna kind of have a certain way now, but you're not really going to see things till like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, whatever, till they start getting older, and then they might have a different point of view. They're not saying they're not going to love him anymore, but they might have a different view of the relationship that he saw one way, and they're like, well, no, actually, this is how it felt, Right. And it's just, and I'm like, if the way he kept saying it, I'm like, if money was the only thing needed to, quote unquote, be there for your kids, we wouldn't see all these celebrity kids coming out saying, I felt abandoned, even though they grew up in the house with both their parents. But because of they're constantly away, they're working, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're not there for what they need them there for. And it's like, that's kind of what she was trying to say. But again, he wasn't ready to hear that because he took any type of criticism as an attack and calling him a bad father when she was clearly saying the opposite.
He used to be in the big bad wolf when it comes to relationships. It seems like any type of relationship with women, because she was just being interviewed. And he tried to dominate everything. He tried to bring her down to who he thought could be manageable for him. Talking nasty, being aggressive, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't talking nasty. She wasn't.
And outside of statistic stuff that just is fact and data, almost coming at it and saying somebody's opinion is wrong is never accurate.
Right. Because like, what an opinion is.
Like, an opinion is somebody's opinion. Like, they could be basing their opinion off of wrong data, wrong information.
Right.
And it could be based off of false information when it comes to that. But their opinion is just their opinion. And like, when she would say stuff that was just her opinion. Like, she was like, I feel, I believe. But when she was talking about stuff that is what it is, she was like, this is what it is. This is why it is. So I'm like, him almost being like, your opinion is wrong. It's like, especially when she was talking about stuff that's her. Like, what?
Right. Her preference.
What? What do you think?
You gonna need to find you a man with some kids.
Like, she wants what she wants,
and if she don't get what she wants, she fine being by herself.
Thank you. Like, why are you demanding because again, Cam, you acting like you just want her to be with you. It's really what it's coming across as. And you mad that she don't want to.
I would have felt away. Okay.
I'm like, it came across. I'm not saying he did. I'm not, whatever. I have no proof of that. But his reaction came across as like she turned Cam Newton down. That's what it came across as. Not her saying in a blanket statement of, I don't want to get, I prefer not to be with a man with kids. Because even when she had to keep clarifying, he was like, you can't be. She was like, let me clarify. I have the ability to. I would be good with, a man that had kids. I would be there. I'd be present. But I don't prefer to. So it's a difference. And he was like acting like she was changing what she was saying. No, she was clarifying.
She was clarifying.
Can't means you don't have the ability. You can't do that. She was like, I can. I don't want to. Is what she was saying. Like, I can. Like, I have the ability to do that. That's fine. But I don't prefer to. And it's like he was getting so hung up on that. For no reason.
So
like,
if I was Jasmine,
no reason.
I would have a conversation with him about two things. First of all, like I said, when I was pregnant with one of the girls, I used to watch her videos all the time. I thought she was so funny. Mm. But then she did talk about wanting a man and needing a man a lot on those too. But anyway, everybody was talking about how she changed when she got with him. And on top of them saying how much she changed when she got with him, and him saying he can change any woman into who he wants them to be, I would have some reflection around that if I was Jasmine.
Thank
and
you.
Also him really, really, really being hurt about Dr. Bryant not choosing him the way that he was. Yeah, I would have some things to reflect upon.
Well, the thing is, even her not choosing him.
3 things. Him wanting more kids and not being specific where you want them from. Excuse me?
Or even saying or even him constantly saying he's waiting for his wife. Okay, well, Jasmine, what are you? Another placeholder?
I'm running out of fingers over here.
I'm like, it's one thing if you're single saying that. When I say single in this context, I mean you're in no relationship at all.
Right, no relationship.
But if you're in a relationship and you're still kind of saying it like that, like, and I'm not saying you have to marry who you're dating. It happens all the time. But it just comes across as odd. Like she's good enough for you to date. She's good enough for you to make babies with.
Right.
But I don't know if I've found my wife yet. And have y'all talked about having more kids, Jasmine? Because he said he want more.
Let me make it easier for you, boo-boo.
So I hope you want more, because he sure don't said he want more. From wherever God sends him from, I guess.
Well, whoever he get pregnant is who he getting them from.
Sounds like this. Again, because I'm like, when you said she should be asking why he got offended and she turned him down. No, you should be asking questions about why are you offended that she turned down dudes in general that have kids. Why are you taking it personal, Cam?
Exactly.
Ask the girlfriend, Jasmine.
Right. She know him. She know how he looked when he feel a certain way. And I know she had to have been like, wait a freaking minute.
Why are you?
Wait a doggone minute.
Why are you worked up?
Why are you so hurt, bro?
Like, why are you getting this invested into somebody saying what their preferences are?
He asked her too that he was mad in the beginning. He was mad about her preference. And then at the end, would you consider me a high value man? So you saying you wouldn't date a man with kids? Sir.
And she said it repeatedly, and he kept asking the same question. And she's like, I've answered no. I don't know how any other ways to say no. Like, that would be like me getting offended if I interview with a man that was like, I don't want to date a plus size woman.
Right.
Well, he didn't say he don't like me. I also have to be a plus size woman. Like, why would I get offended unless we were flirting or something? Like, what? Like, if a dude just said, I wouldn't prefer to date a plus size woman, that's my preference. Okay.
All right.
Next. Like, it's like when dudes get upset with women, like, I only want to date tall men, and you're not a tall man, but somehow it's personal because a woman.
But they do.
Did she come to your house and say, "Forget you, I don't want to date you, shorty"?
But they do.
No, then she's not talking to you. Like, somebody can have a preference. Here's the thing, Cam. You want more kids. Would you date a woman who don't want any kids? No. Well, then you have a preference. So any woman now who doesn't want kids gets to jump on your timelines, jump in all your social medias, all on every video on YouTube, and drag you because you don't want to date me. You don't want to date women that don't want kids. Because you see how crazy that sounds?
That means she shouldn't be in his category of preferences either.
So why are we? But I'm saying, going by his reaction, now all the women on the earth who don't want kids, which there are plenty of women who don't want kids ever, now they get to jump on your social medias and everywhere else and attack you and get offended and get all in their feelings because you obviously want kids and they don't. Right. So now they get to take it personal, even though you weren't specifically saying, Andrea from California who doesn't want kids, I don't want to date you. Even though that's what they get to take it like you said that. Like you got on with a list on they told me some and Maria from Atlanta who don't want kids. I don't want to date you either. Like but right. It's like that's not what happened. That made me
think about Dr. Seuss when he was going through the phone book. Now,
for real, for real. Like it's a preference. Like it's he didn't have to state it, but you know he wouldn't date somebody that doesn't want kids because he wants more kids. But so I don't need to ask him. But I'm saying, he more than likely would say.
I think he would be somebody who would date somebody who doesn't want kids, who's made it clear that they want kids, and still try to get them pregnant and make them have the kid and keep the kid, even though they.
I'm talking about kids. Women who have.
I don't have no proof of that, but I just think.
I'm talking about women who have no sense to not even get a relationship with him because they know. You know what I'm saying? At this point, he want kids. Right. It's not hidden. So I'm saying, most women, they would be like, well, I don't want kids. And he does. He's publicly stated it. So you already know this is not going to work. So again, but I'm saying in general, his preference is to be with somebody who wants kids. Regardless of what he thinks he can change, his preference would be to be with somebody who wants kids. Who not only wants kids, doesn't have a problem that he has multiple kids by multiple women, who doesn't necessarily want to get married or doesn't care if you don't marry her. Like it's what kind of women he would be most likely look interested in going for first, even if he claims he can mold and sculpt whoever. The kind of woman that would be the easiest to date would be a woman who's like, whatever, I just want to be with Cam Newton.
Somebody that just wants a man like Jasmine was in all her videos, and that's what she got.
Who sees enough of what they want, like what she was saying, he has enough of what they want for you to just be fine with that, even if it's not everything, even if some things bother you, it's enough of what you want for it to be okay. Would be the kind of woman he would be. It's probably who he's gonna keep attracting, but the kind of woman who's like, nope, you don't, nope. It's not even compromise stuff. It's stuff that's like, this is not gonna fit with what I want, which would be a person who does not ever want kids, would not fit with somebody like him, period. They just wouldn't. But again, you have preferences. Every person has a preference. It is what it is. I don't know why he was so up in his feelings about that though. I was like, why are you acting like she turned you down?
He said, I'm gonna put these little leggings on. I'm gonna go out there like,
what? He said, I got my leggings, I got my top hat with my dreads sticking out. I'm ready to go. He said, I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
I'm killing up.
He was in that mirror when he put that hat on and stuck them dreads on top. I was like, ooh, don't do it, Cam. Ooh, don't do it to him. Don't do it to him.
I need a hat. Didn't. He's like, I need a hat where I can flounce my dreads out.
I want to flounce them. You know he was. And then he got up in there and all his little fifis got hurt. Just poor little fifis.
Flounce his dreads out.
Like he wasn't ready. That's why I was like, why again? He acted like they got set up on a blind date and not knowing everything, and they was talking, and then she was like, I would never date a man who has, which I don't think she said never, but she was saying I wouldn't want to date a man who has kids, and he just found that out, and he was like, well, dang, I thought we could have a connection. And that's how he acted like they was on a blind date and they just learned about each other.
Like that. We've been together for 2 years. You done met all my kids. You done met my baby's mamas and my mama. Now you gonna tell me you don't want a man with kids?
Like again, he acted like she was like, I would never date Cam Newton.
Like she came out there, I hate you, Cam Newton.
Like, he was so offended. Like, he was all in his emotions. And I'm like, dude, she just said I wouldn't date a man with kids. And that's all she said. That's all she said.
It's got to be hard to walk around with an ego that big. Life has got to be. Ugh.
Like, I would feel no different if a man was like, I'll prefer to date a woman with kids for whatever reason. And I couldn't get all in my feelings because I'm like, well, I don't have kids, so now I'm gonna just attack him because I don't have what his preference is. Like, what? Like, what are you doing right now? It was just like, I just was like, this is Jasmine, baby mama Jasmine, current girlfriend Jasmine. You should be taking some notes and asking questions, but I'm gonna let y'all relationship do y'all relationship and let y'all do how y'all want to do. I ain't in y'all house, I ain't in y'all business. But I can speak for me. If I saw somebody I was dating and in a relationship with and had a child by, and this was the reactions for some things, and certain things were said, I would be having a conversation. I would be having a conversation. Some stuff needs to be cleared up. We need to clear some stuff.
And you see how, like, I don't know if he. Well, I think I heard a clip of him talking about her, so I'm not gonna say he never talked about her. I think
I don't know enough to even make. I don't know enough about either one. Really,
but her whole thing seemed like it's him now. Her comedy sets when she go do comedy and stuff. It seems like her whole thing is being his baby mama now.
You got to be very careful about making your identity your partner, and I feel like that about men, women, other. Mm-hmm. Like your whole personality should not be, especially if you already was doing something on your own before that. Like, it should now become who you're with. Mm-hmm. That's because what happens if y'all no longer.
I think you're always going to be afraid of your career failing
because you're no longer Cam's girlfriend. You're no longer whatever.
Yeah, if you can't make decisions for yourself as to if the relationship should end because you're thinking about your career. That's one more tie to that person aside from the child that y'all made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm like, just looking at his pattern, there's no guarantee y'all gonna stay together at all. So I sure wouldn't be. I mean, this not even saying good, bad, or whatever, but I'm just saying if you looking at his history,
and she wants to get married.
His history is not showing you should be putting that much energy into making your life about him, because it could no longer be with him at any given time. So I wouldn't be trying to make that connection constantly. Like, mention it here and there, yeah, fine. You with Cam Newton, of course you're gonna mention it, but that shouldn't be. We all gonna talk about this. Like when Kevin Hart's wife kept doing stand up, but after they got divorced, and all her stand up kept being about Kevin Hart. Like, if you, ma'am, former Mrs. Hart,
she still.
If you want to now be, I'm saying former Mrs. Hart. She's not Mrs. Hart anymore. She's just Miss Hart. But I'm saying if you now want to make your career, all your stand up cannot be about Kevin, because. Now it's okay, and we talking about years past y'all being divorced at this point. So it's like, okay, ma'am, what are we doing? What are we doing with this? So I just won't, and even when he tried to kind of attack when she was saying, which again I don't even know why he brought it up because he's not married either. When he was like, you can't, a single person can't counsel married people. Well, I'm sorry, Kim, where's your wife? Where is she? Where's your wife?
But I think a psychologist.
Like, okay, like you like. I'm like, and she was like, I don't counsel married couples. I counsel people to work on their stuff so they can be a better married couple. And even people in the comments that were like, you can't counsel married people single. Yeah, because even though you're married, you're still separate people. Right. You don't become homunculus.
And she didn't say that she did marriage counseling. That's not what she was saying.
No, she was like, so they can work on whatever the issues that they need to work on, which everybody needs to work on something. You need to work on so they can come back together and be better. And people are like, you can't counsel or speak to married people separate because they have issues that are together. First of all, yes, you can and yes, you should.
They always start individually.
Yes, you can and yes, you should. Because it's certain things
before they even got together.
Because what if it's something they don't want to talk to that person about, and at that moment, that they will eventually, but they need to be able to just say what they want to say and not be concerned about what the wife or the husband's gonna say, or feel or think. Like, yeah, and again, just because you're married does not mean you've become one human with one mind.
Right. Y'all work together, but you still an individual.
Yes, you still have individuality. You just working as a team. And you're together as a team, but you still can be treated as two separate people, and you should.
It makes sense to get treated like they tell people to do, individually and together. That's the best way.
Yes, a lot of people that specifically do marriage counseling do both. Like, they have separate sessions that they do, and then they have the couples. But again, I don't even know why he brought up the fact that she was single, because I'm like, again, Cam, I know you're in a relationship, but you are single.
Yeah, you talking like you're single. Shoot.
I'm just... Because even when she brought up single, he was like, well, I'm not... Well, but no, your baby mamas are single mothers, and you are a single father. Like, I hate to break it to you like this.
And he sounds like you want to make more single mothers.
Single doesn't mean single, because he was like, well, single means that you're not getting any help. No, it doesn't. Single means you're not married. So you are a single father, just like your other baby mamas are single mothers, because you are not married to any of them. You could be helping, which I believe you're helping, but y'all, this single parenting is happening. Single parenting is occurring.
It's abound.
You know, it's occurring. Right? I don't know what else to tell you. Like, when Renee got divorced, they are now single parents. Because that is a single mother, that is a single solo one. Doesn't mean nobody's helping. It just means you're single. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's basically everything I got out of it.
Oh yeah, and we were supposed to only be on here for like 30, 45 minutes, and we over here an hour and a half.
Almost 2 hours.
Yes. So we're gonna wrap it up here before we get whatever, and I'm gonna make sure I put because you said it's on her channel too, so I'm gonna make sure I link both of the podcasts in the description so y'all can check them out at your leisure, just kind of so you don't have to just go by what we're saying, but make your own opinions. Y'all might see something we didn't see. You might disagree. As long as nobody gets unruly in the comments, disagreements are fine. So that's all I have to say about it. It was interesting. It was interesting, and I definitely want to know more about Dr. Bryant.
Yep. All right. Well, till next time. We'll talk to y'all later.
See you when we see you.